Okay, I'm just going to actually turn down my bitrate so I don't make a massive file.
And I'm also very excited, Phuzzy, to do this podcast with you.
So I
Thank you, man.
I haven't let him have a word in edgewaves, bless him, and just like, oh yes, Phuzzybond's finally here. Welcome to the official, unofficial Sea of Thieves podcast, a podcast dedicated to Sea of Thieves and other rare games, but mainly Sea of Thieves. We have another exciting episode today. We will be discussing the current state of the game. Our focus will be mainly about PvP and the balance of PvP versus PvE. We will discuss what we should do with running Reapers, how we feel about the future of Arena, and will hit reg ever be fixed? And by now, you might be wondering why Captain Blubber sounds so sexy today. Well, this episode, I, AShinyRay, will be your main host. But that doesn't mean Captain Blubber isn't here.
I'm still here, but Ray is in charge of this episode. I'm a little bit nervous since I like to, be in charge myself. But if anyone can do it, AShinyRay can.
I won't let you down, I promise. But not only Captain Blubber is here, we also have a third very special guest.
Hello, guys. Phuzzy here with Honest Gods and Gameplays. Thank you so much, guys, for having me.
Fantastic. Lovely to have you on, Phuzzy. Pretty much, should we just get straight into the icebreaker questions if you're ready?
All you want.
Okay, fantastic.
Ram strat, bet strat, So let's go that way.
It's nice that you're keeping to your stream personality by enforcing that Ram strat is indeed the best strat.
Yeah.
So these are just a few questions for us to introduce you, even though most of our followers and viewers will probably know who you are, considering you're a huge influence in the Sea of Thieves community. So let's kick it right off. So firstly, let us know when you started your channel and what made you choose to make mainly Sea of Thieves content.
We have to start a step before that. I'm originally an audio engineer, so working with media and editing and all that digital stuff has always been a passion to me. So, and I love gaming, of course. So when I played Sea of Thieves, I randomly happened to be one of the first, like within the first hour of the Hungering Deep people to complete it, and I was like, oh, we finished this like pretty early. I wonder how other people finished it on YouTube. So I searched that on YouTube and there was absolutely no videos of it. Zero. I was like, what? I'm the first one with footage of this? This is a gold mine. So I just like uploaded the video and it got like 150 views overnight for a channel that has like nothing. I just created the channel for that video. I didn't have a channel, that's of course astronomical, 150 views in 24 hours for having no one, And the next day I got some comments, this is nice and stuff. I was like, hey, this YouTube thing seems easy. It wasn't, of course. I was fooled by the hype of the first video. And I started uploading some random just adventures that no one cared about. If you notice my channel, I have that video. Then I have a couple of random adventures that no one cared about. Then I wanted to get better in the game because I kept getting owned. So I started searching guides, and to be fair, I did not find what I was looking for. Everything was kind of like, you do this and you go sell it there and stuff. I was like, okay, then, but how do I get the quest? There was always like, it's like, for example, oh, you get this chest and you sell it there. But I was like, there's always that missing link in the video, with all the respect to them. And it's like things that seemed ordinary to them aren't ordinary to us less experienced players. So I was like, okay, if I sell this chest there, how do I get the quest for that chest in the first place? This is the missing link I found on YouTube. So I started making my own guides and it took off from there. So I was technically pulled into content creation. I never planned to become a content creator. And that's pretty much it.
That's brilliant, thank you. I would like to touch on some of those comments, but this is icebreaker rapid fire quick questions, so I'm not going to do that. So moving on to the next question, where does the name Phuzzybond come from? Is there a story behind it?
Yes. So as mentioned earlier, I'm an audio engineer. I'm always into bands and rock and metal and reggae and all that stuff. So I'm a guitarist also. I taught guitar back in the day. And I had a band. One of my favorite bands was called The Fuzz because we loved playing stuff like Jimi Hendrix, but we wanted like a mix between a funk and Jimi Hendrix. So we're like, we want something funky that sounds a bit distorted, like fuzzy, you know. So my friend was like, sorry, Jackie at the time said, well, how about funk and fuzzy makes fuzz? So the band was called The Fuzz. And over time, we started playing locally. It never got big, but it was my favorite project. People started calling me, oh, this is the fuzzy guitarist. This is the fuzzy guitarist. That's where the fuzzy name came from. Bond was just a family name that I felt like adding because Xbox wanted something longer than how many letters? Six. So I just was like, Bond, that sounds like it rhymes with it.
That's fantastic. That's such a good name origin. I didn't know you were into all that sort of rock and metal stuff. I used to be quite big into it. I say used to. I don't really listen to a lot of music at the moment, but I still love it. But yeah, fantastic. Thanks for sharing the story. That's a good piece of trivia now. So
Most
I'm
welcome.
gonna brilliant. Thank you. So I'm just gonna move on to some more rapid fire questions. These are just gonna go boom, boom, boom. See if you can answer them as quickly as possible. So your
All right.
favorite game of all time, Fuzzy?
General Zero Hour.
Wow, okay. And what game would you make content on if Sea of Thieves never existed?
Probably survival games, laid back survival games like Green Hell and Subnautica, Satisfactory, stuff like that.
Some good choices there. And your favorite weapon in Sea of Thieves?
Pistol.
Straightforward, the pistol man, the hip shot champion. And your favorite weapon loadout, so which combination do you like to use the most?
I've been using Pistol Cutlass since August of 2018 and I never changed.
Absolute god, pistol cutlass. Used to be my favorite. At the moment, I've switched to Eye of Reach, but fantastic. Favorite ship set?
Royal Sovereign.
Royal Sovereign, a
Ooh,
classic
old
of Fuzzy
school.
Bond. What did you say, Blubber?
I said old school.
Old school, yeah,
Yeah.
one of the
Because
first
it
ship
took me
sets.
like a month and a half to get that back in the day. So it means a lot to me.
Back in my day, I was the same with the Admiral set. It's just, yeah, it was a different ball game back there. Your
Yeah.
favorite clothing set, Fuzzy?
The one I'm wearing, I wear, I think, Grand Admiral shirt with a legendary rest of stuff. The Pirate Legend.
Awesome. And sometimes you wear a disguise, don't you, just to hide yourself from the viewers and the
Yeah, I
community.
use the full ready customs because it's easier to move back and forth.
Fantastic. And your favorite island in Sea of Thieves?
Lone Cove.
Why?
It has a nice canopy to like relax, and it's very. You can see all around it, and it's not very bumpy.
Fair
Feels
enough.
more like if you want to retire, it's a good place for it.
And you've got that awesome bit in the middle as well, with all the like graves and the. It looks like an old market, I guess, remnants of that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has kind of more life in it than most other islands.
Okay, fantastic. And your favorite full tail, favorite tall tail?
Wild Rose.
Why?
Because it's kind of like the most one of all of them that close to reality.
Oh, okay, that's an interesting choice. I wouldn't pick it personally. I don't know if Blubber would. Would you, Blubber?
Well, it's a joke in my crew because it's the most hated title in my crew for some reason. People find it really boring. I like it. I think it's just fine. Like what Fuzzy said, like the human component of that title is pretty sweet.
Yes.
Okay, that's a fair assessment. I'll give you that one. Your favorite Sea of Thieves named update?
Shrouded Spoils.
Why Shrouded Spoils?
Because it's the only one that actually changed core features of the game that made your daily life different.
Ooh, interesting. To be fair, I agree with that one. First year updates are already stellar, and Shrouded Spoils was sort of added the least, but sort of did the most for the game in year one, I think. Blubber?
Well, it's favorite update. Whoa, you're putting me on the spot.
Yeah.
Probably Pirate's Life.
Ooh, okay. Why
Yeah.
Pirate's Life, Blubber?
It made me excited for the game again after 3 years. Like truly excited for the potential of this game.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I was excited for Pirate's Life as well. I really enjoyed it, especially now that we know that Flameheart's Tall Tales weren't swapped. Much happier about Pirate's Life now. Moving back to Fuzzy, who's your favorite character in Sea of Thieves?
That's a very good question. I never thought of it. Maybe the mysterious stranger. Now, what's his name? The one sitting by I forgot the name. The legendary stranger guy.
Where is he
One by
sat?
the tavern. The Athena guy we sell to. I completely forgot his name.
Yeah, he's the mysterious stranger.
Mysterious stranger, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
because
he's minding his own business, but you feel like he's the godfather behind the scenes.
you can tell he's Ramsey's right hand man, can't you?
Exactly, and that feels like this person is trustworthy. You can rely on him. He's the only real deal. Everyone else might have an agenda, but this guy is just loyal, and that's it.
He's just chilling in a tavern. On that topic, do you miss the female mysterious stranger from before Anniversary?
Yes, you know what's funny? I was actually looking through my old files, and I found a screenshot of the female one yesterday. I was like, oh, missed that one.
Yeah, I miss her as well. I used to love it when she used to just go "Hail Pirate" whenever you spoke to her or said goodbye. Yeah, they should bring her back, I think. But
I
obviously, Tall Tales they probably won't. And last quick fire question: does Flameheart need a mute button?
Yes, but technically, if we're gonna get into that later, it's much harder than just that.
Fair enough, fair enough. Okay, so now we're warmed up, let's move on to the topics and discussion points. So, the whole point of this podcast is really based off of one of your recent videos, and I found this video very profound, hence why I asked you on the podcast. So, this video was called The Features, Metas, and Trends in Sea of Thieves. I personally really
Yeah,
enjoyed it, and it was nice to see a prominent community member just discuss this. And I think what was good about the video as well, it was very nonchalant, it wasn't structured, and it was taken from your sort
it
of
it happened
unfiltered.
like it wasn't planned. It just happened because the community wanted to get their voice heard. I was like, you know what? Let's do that. That day, a lot of people were complaining. I was like, let's get that through.
Yeah, for sure. Like, so I didn't see the stream itself. I did catch the video when you uploaded it, and I've seen it through a few times now. And you have the chat up, and you can see a lot of people complaining in the chat, and you're turning around and you're basically saying, for anyone who's not watched it already, we'll link it in the description. Go and watch it. Loads of you have
I
watched it. You need to watch it. It's great. Um, and yeah, I see a lot of people frustrated in the chat, and you're turning around. And you're like, no, this needs to happen. This should be changed this way. If you're upset with the game, don't force yourself to play. It was a big thing I got from that. There's a lot of people that were saying in the chat that why should they play Sea of Thieves if I'm going to get on? I'm going to get loads of treasure for an hour, and then some like sweaty PvP galleon's just going to come, call me gamer words, and ruin my game every single time I play. I don't know how that happens every single time. It might do,
They're
but you
speaking
were
out of rage. It doesn't happen every single time, but he's just, trying
exactly.
to vent.
Yeah, exactly. I see these comments on Reddit as well. I see it in the Twitch chat. I see it all over the place on Twitter. And people obviously they exaggerate to get their point across because they're frustrated and they don't feel like the game's catering to them. But we'll cover this more in depth as we go through the topics. So to add to the first point of discussion, so this is just a general overview. How do you feel about Sea of Thieves at the moment in terms of gameplay and updates? What's your core feeling at the moment, Fuzzy?
Um, See, there's two types of this. There's a content creator feeling and a player feeling. If I was a casual player coming from like still new, the game is beautiful.
Hmm.
But as someone who's always been playing it, uh, the whole last year has been just, including Pirate's Life, because I'm not a big fan of Tall Tales in general. My community knows if you want to torture me, let me do Tall Tales live. And that's pretty much it. It feels it's trying to it's struggling uphill. You know, it has the fuel in it,
Hmm.
but it's struggling uphill. So would they reach the top before the fuel runs out, so they can actually go down the slope faster from the other side, or would it stop on the way there?
mm.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Blubber, do you want to add to that at all? How do you feel?
No, not really. I just find it funny that Fuzzy's not a tall tale guy and he's joining a podcast with two people that are really into the lore and the tall tales. So I don't know. That's just funny to me.
It's funny you bring that up. I think a lot of people, if they saw us play when we're like off stream, we mostly play off stream, they'd be very surprised to see that we're very PvP focused crew.
Yeah, we are.
We love PvE, don't get me wrong, and Tall Tales events, what have you, but we love PvP more than anything. Personally,
Yeah.
my favorite thing is the lore, but PvP is a close second for all its problems, as I've brought up recently. And Fuzzy, I watch your streams for sure. I watch them on the regular. I do lurk. You don't know I'm there sometimes. And you tend to let the action come to you, don't you? You go and collect loot, you do PvE, and you put your Reaper flag up, and you challenge people, come get the loot. If you beat us, you get all this loot as a reward.
Yeah.
And sort of following off that point then, um, in terms of people attacking you, do you still think portal hopping needs some sort of buy-in, or like a voyage that you have to buy to initiate it, rather than a free get out of jail free card that you can just vote down a tall tale?
100%. This is one of the most frustrating, not the feature itself, but the freedom of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I talk to the viewers, they say, yeah, but I can also escape when I portal hop. Well, here's the point. If you're escaping while portal hopping, that means you don't have loot. So why would you escape? Are you protecting your supplies? Turn around and fight. If you lose, you just then move to another server. You can, it's like use that advantage. If you're willing to escape, that means you don't have loot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But this way, you're going to keep running away forever.
So
Eventually, you're going to win some of the battles. Yeah.
exactly, that's a good attitude to have, I think, as well. And I'm sure Blubber shares this opinion that in Sea of Thieves, the only way to get better is to lose and struggle. And this circles back to what you were saying when you were making these guides in like 2018, 2019. And you said it in the video as well. We've all been that pirate that have been dumpstered on by the galleon of sweats, and we've lost everything, 3 hours of work. And going back to the portal hopping thing, so you're saying that it seems like a one-way system where only the attackers really benefit from it.
Yes, because majority, not all of them, majority of attackers hop in a situation where I play to win. I don't play
Hmm.
to actually have a fair fight. Like I only play to win. I said that in the video because they come. If they steal the loot, they sell it and leave.
Mm.
It's like that's why I have the loot. I have it so you can sink me and take it as a reward. But it's also a fair fight to let me try and get my revenge because that's a part of piracy.
Hmm.
I lost. Let me get their salt back. But no, they sell, and even if they're 10 times better than you and they know they can win, they head straight against the wind, or if it's a galleon, they go with the wind and they go straight to the portal as a Reaper 5. And that truth like drives me nuts,
Yeah, it drives me nuts as well. In the last few months, just when in season 2, actually, this was Fort of Fortune. It just started up, and we got to a Fort of Fortune as an Athena 5 was there, and we sunk them on the last wave. We finished the Fort of Fortune. They came back, they sunk us, and then we came back again, and they took the Athena loot, and they were just like, you know what, we're gonna Shores of Gold this, and we chased them. Fair enough, they didn't portal hop. We chased them all the way to Shores of Gold from, I think it was Sailor's Knot and back. And we caught them as they were coming out the shroud. And they were turning around and calling us sad and what have you. They were calling us gamer words. And at the end of the day, like, if you're going to choose to run, just expect us to chase. We'll cover this more in
Later.
depth later. But Blubber, do you think the portal hopping needs to be nerfed for Reapers anyway?
Well, at first I thought no, but then I heard the arguments of Phuzzy and was like, yeah, maybe a little bit, because it does invite for a certain type of players to just portal hop all over, and indeed just getting the loot, selling it, and be on their merry way again. And all right, well, okay, fine, and that's not really fun for anybody. So yeah.
Yeah, it's hurting newer players more than it's benefiting veterans.
That's fair. So the people that are portal hopping and know how to use this as a Reaper 5 and get the most out of it aren't in need of any assistance. They need to be nerfed, like you said. How much do you
Exactly.
think? How much do you think the buy-in for the voyage would be to portal hop?
Well, I remember from Falco's video, give an incentive for the Reaper to become 5. This way, you can just, retrieve. Like, this has to be in relation to the Reaper emissary itself. If
Hmm.
Reaper becomes only stolen loot, only real players are going to become real. I don't mean real, like real, sorry, PvPers,
Hmm.
or basically not real. That sounds wrong too. Like dedicated PvPers
Mm.
will become Reaper 5, and you won't see Reapers running anymore because you're going to have to steal loot to become 5. And that's the only way to buy yourself a quest to go into the portal, And maybe when you go through the portal, once you come out of the other side, you drop to Reaper 3. so you can work
Mm.
yourself way up. It's like it
Yeah.
costs, for example, 2 Reaper lines or levels, whatever, and level
Mm.
3. Then in the next server, you're gonna have to basically force yourself to become Reaper 5 again by stealing loot, so you can hop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Sounds good.
fair. I like that idea. It is very powerful hopping as a Reaper,
Mm,
because again, mentioned in the video, um, people will be on a server and they see a Reaper 5, and the emissaries just clear out. They literally just disappear because they don't
yeah,
want that. They don't want that heat. Because when there's a Reaper 5 on the map, they're going to come for you, unless they're these magic PVE Reapers. The emissaries just literally
yeah.
they
The
bounce.
Reapers usually there's more than one. If you see like 2 Reapers minding their own business on the server, Reaper 5, that means they're already allied.
Yeah, fair enough. So on that sort of final note, then, do you think portal hopping has helped the flow of PvP or largely damaged it?
It helped it in how do you say that, non-organic ways, which is like genetically modified PvP. You can say,
Right, I see.
on the long terms, that's not good for you. That's not good for the game or for, like, don't think of like, oh, every time I stream now I have hoppers coming. Yeah, that for my stream, this is fun. There's more sweat going on every single stream since portal hopping, but
Mm,
since I make mainly beginner guides, there are way more beginner players getting upset for that. Like saying,
Mm.
that day I was at a sea post fishing, and suddenly from the portal right in front of me, the one by south of Shores of Plenty or something, uh,
mhm,
our Galleon 5 came out, and I was literally keeping an eye around for no one. It came out of nowhere, full speed towards me. I told them I only have fish, and they sunk me, and I was only able to sell the fish that I had on me, and they took all the stuff that was in barrels. You know, that guy next weekend is not going to play Sea of Thieves. He's going to say, I only have 3 hours to play. I'm going to do
Mhm.
something else.
Right. And the
So it's all
landscape changed too, right? Because in the beginning you bought the game for 60 euros or dollars or whatever your currency is. And if you had some bad experience, you kept pushing through, you want to improve because you paid money for this. Now it's on Game Pass, it's different. Like the first hours are really gonna determine if you're gonna continue with this game, yes or no.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, obviously the game was always on Game Pass, but I think there were a lot more players who bought the game on day one, and Game Pass has
Yeah.
grown to sort of a lot
Well,
larger numbers.
Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks for
Well,
correcting me.
at the time of launch, Game Pass wasn't popular. If you remember, it was like the Sony Plus or something, like something, or Origin or Play Pass, the one for EA games. It was like a much less popular one. They went later that year, I think, or was it the year after? They introduced Game Pass Ultimate, and that's when things really took off. Which
Exactly.
applies to what Captain Blubber said. It became too easy now to just abandon the game.
Exactly, yeah. So your investment is very high on launch, where most people are. That Sea of Thieves was the guinea pig for Game Pass, wasn't it? And it obviously worked because they started adding all the other first-party games to Game Pass, which is fantastic. But yeah, I can remember I personally bought Sea of Thieves. I didn't buy into Game Pass at the start, and a lot of people were the same. Fuzzy, did you get it on Game Pass or did you purchase
No,
the
no, I
game?
bought it. It wasn't even available in our region. I had to buy a VPN and go to Amazon, buy a key, and download it.
Oof, that sucks when
It's
regions
still not
aren't
available,
supported.
by the way.
Oh, so
You know.
so technically you shouldn't be where you are today if it wasn't for that little VPN.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, until now, my store region is US.
Very clever. Fair enough.
Sure.
So just sort of moving on from that point then, on the topic of Reapers, are Reapers allowed to run? Can the faction be changed to improve how people choose to play when flying the Reaper emissary?
Yes, they are allowed to run because technically, you on your ship, on your time, on your PC or console, you don't know anyone to fight. You know, you
Hmm.
don't know. It's your time. You're entitled to it. But the difference is the problem here goes before that, which is by design, Reaper Emissary is flawed because as a PvP faction, it's the easiest one to level up as a PvE, which makes casual players go through it because they want a quick buck. You can say.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's really easy to get to Reaper 5, not Reaper 5, Reaper 50 for your emissary rewards. not emissary
Yeah.
awards. What's it called? Renown. Is it
Plus,
renown?
casual players don't want to miss out on the emissary rewards, like you said. Exactly.
Yeah, you got this FOMO sort of idea that if you don't complete it in the sort of 2-month window in a season, you're lagging behind, and then you have to catch up. So yeah, so how would you actually, on that topic, before we go on to the next one, how do you feel about people who red sea their loot? This isn't on the script, but it just popped into my head now. What's your opinion on it?
I said that on stream yesterday, actually. Because no one owes me a fight, some people are already bitter from how much they got dumped on by
Mm,
larger crews, especially the feeling of like, there's no player that went to Red Sea, I guarantee you that, unless they reached a point in Sea of Thieves where they felt helpless and there's no way for them to improve in PvP. So they do what they call like the Samson option. If I'm going down, you're coming down with me. No one's having any loot.
right, I see. So, but just to sort of clarify, you understand why they do it, but do you think it's
It
right that
really
they do it?
bothers me when I'm chasing someone going there, and I even stopped because since the loot's gonna just like I think of myself like as the other player. Um, oh, it sucks. All my hard work is gonna go to Red Sea as long as they don't get it. So when that happens and I see them heading to Red Sea, I just turn back so they can
Mm.
actually go and sell it, and I don't attack him. If
So
he's
you,
if he's ready to lose it, no, you might as well sell it and you know say, all right, that Reaper wasn't such a bad person after all. He spared me. That's
yeah, that's fair. That's a good way of looking at it. So you're letting them sell because the loot's. You might as well let them sell it because the loot's going to disappear anyway. Someone might as well have it.
yeah, because he's a newer player. Invest in newer players so you can have greater battles in the future.
Mhm. So I'll go again, sticking with this topic. I don't know. I know you post your videos on Reddit, Fuzzy. I don't know if you browse it at all. This is a very contentious topic on there, and every time it's brought up, there's a meme usually about it where everyone's laughing at the Red Sea runners, and the comments are an absolute war zone with downvotes, people getting angry and flaming each other. It's a hellhole, basically. Don't use Reddit. Um, a lot of the arguments I see is that, like you said, if I can't have the loot, then no one else can have it. I think there's a skewed perspective of most PvP players because there is an element of toxicity in Sea of Thieves. We've experienced it ourselves. You must experience it all the time on stream where people are nasty, they throw insults, what have you. But do you think that whole, I don't know if it's a minority, those people who have created that environment have given a skewed perception of these quote unquote PvP only players? Because personally, I like PvP. When we play, we're never nasty to anyone. But someone red seeing their loot could be seen as spiteful when we've just played the game. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yep. What do you think about it, Captain Blubber? Do you hate it when you're chasing someone Red Sea?
Well, a little bit. Like there's a point where I get really annoyed. Like it's fine. I always see escaping is part of the game. Being on the lookout is part of the game. Running is part of the game. It's your own choice. But at a point during that chase, there must be a switch where, like, all right, so this is not working. Let's just fight. But the option people choose is to go Red Sea or put Shroud Breaker on. And yeah, I really get annoyed when they make that decision.
Yeah, but you can't probably blame them, right? I mean, imagine that same player who got loot yesterday, let's say, the day before, got dunked on by a galleon and told him you're trash, because that's mostly what happens. It comes as a reaction from a bitter experience they had before, and they do anything not to get through that. And they're gonna assume everyone's like this because you're just a Reaper 5, like the ship from yesterday.
Mm, yeah, that's a good point, but it's still hard for me to place myself in that person. Like I was there too, like you said, you were there. I was there too in the first couple of days when you're just solo slooping and the galleon rolls up, or even when you're not solo slooping, duo slooping, and you come against experienced players. And but still, like it never got to the point where I'm like, I'm gonna run away now. I just adjust my playstyle to it. So I've never red seat myself, so it's really hard for me to really get that mindset.
Oh yeah, I never red seat myself. I never run away either. The most thing I would do if, for example, I need a skull or an Athena for commendation, I'll sell only that item. Then I'll turn right back at them with all the loot in the bowsprit because I don't care about gold or any loot. I just care more. For example, 50 skulls for, Captain of the Damned Sales. So, and I have one on me. I'll only sell that, drive by, and I'll come back to them with all the rest of the loot on me.
Aye.
I think what Fuzzy's got nailed down there is that he's showing empathy for why these people would do it. But there's also empathy that goes both ways because it's your time as well investing. You want that loot. And a lot of people have said, oh, maybe the loot should float to the habitable zone from the Red Sea. Personally, I don't think that should be the case because as much as I hate people Red Sea, and I'm a stickler for the philosophy of Sea of Thieves. Tools, not rules. If people are going to do it, fair game. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't think it needs to be changed. I think attitudes need to be changed, and like you said, sometimes showing mercy is a good way to sort of sow the seeds for a long-term player base, I think.
Yeah, I always tell my viewers, Sea of Thieves is a sandbox, right? So you built a big castle, and the same person, like yesterday, you built a big castle, and someone just walked through it and kicked it and left. Today, you're doing the same, but you're more aware. You see the same bully coming from a distance, stomping. What are you gonna do? You are gonna ruin your castle, so he won't get the joy of stepping on it, and that's pretty much what it is.
That's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, that's a really fair viewpoint. Obviously, not everyone's going to baby the new players, and people don't. It's different if you have a sort of prominent platform as well. That it's almost like it sounds silly, but your duty to encourage these mindsets, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
We're meant to be representing both the best part of the Sea of Thieves community as yourself as a Sea of Thieves partner, and like I said, you're huge on Twitch, you're huge on YouTube. You need to be showing people that if the big streamers and big content creators are behaving like this, people should be picking up on these sort of vibes from yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I
Because,
changed. Oh, go
go
for it,
ahead.
Fuzzy. Well, I changed too. Like my heart is pretty black when I'm setting Sea of Thieves, and I used to think everybody no mercy whatsoever. Since I've been making content, I've become a little bit less black. So I'm really watching, thinking more of their experience as well, like letting tall tailors go and stuff like that.
Yeah. Also, you look at the big picture, right? Look at majority of streamers. With all the respect, each has to play however they like. I'm not saying they're doing it right or wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but usually on streams, PvP sells, right? For example, I'll be streaming, let's say I have 500 viewers. If I get into a heated battle with someone, my views gradually start increasing. Let's say it's 600. As soon as the battle's over, whether I sink or win, it drops like another 50. So there's an incentive why streamers are enforcing PvP, but also, like I said, I try and invest in the future, not in viewers of the stream. You know, is that, let's say, for example, all the streamers of Sea of Thieves are 10, 8 of them are always PvP. So I try not, I call for PvP. I don't chase or hop because there has to be that getaway for some of the different viewers who dislike that form of playstyle.
Okay, yeah. That makes complete sense. You're more thinking about the long term, not only your career and I guess it's your business now. You're thinking about you want Sea of Thieves to succeed because when Sea of Thieves is thriving, you're thriving as well.
100%, exactly.
And you don't even have to think of this as a content creator level. As if you make money from your craft, fantastic. But if you love Sea of Thieves and you love how it plays, even as just a player, you've got no investment in it other than that. But you want more Sea of Thieves, you need to sort of foster more in the
Exactly.
community. It's almost like we all have to do our part to like look after little babby players, the noobs, because like you said, we were all noobs once. Yeah, it does change your mindset, and a lot of people don't see it that way, do they?
Yeah. You feel like they're just tunnel visioned into like, all right, we're gonna have to find PvP because that brings more viewers. Again, I don't blame them. Some people are stuck in paying rent or something, and if they don't manage these 100 viewers per stream, that they know that 100 viewers is gonna bring me this much income, I'm not going to pay rent. Just
Mm,
theoretically speaking, it's not exactly like that. But some
mhm.
people are kind of forced to that because life is at different difficulties for different people.
Yeah, completely hit the nail on the head there. In terms of just like a average day-to-day player though, um, I guess this could apply to streamers as well. Sorry to go off on a tangent, but it's not fun to dump on a defenseless new player. It doesn't make me feel good, um, even if they've got loot. It's just a bit. It's a hollow victory. So what's the point? You might as well just let them go.
Yeah,
Mm,
exactly.
yeah.
I don't think anyone if there's no challenge. Like one time I was chasing an Athena guy and he's like, he had some Athena loot on him a while back. He was by Devil's Roar. He's like, the second I boarded him and I killed him, he was like, fine, man. And he started swearing, you know what? Take my ship. I don't care. I don't care about this game anymore. He was a pirate legend and he has everything. He was acting like a whiny baby. And I told him, wow, man, seems like you're having a bad day. You know what? Be a whiny baby. I'm leaving you alone. And I just left because it feels bitter to me that this person probably just had his boss slap him at work and he's coming home like raging and he wants to get his mind off things. There's absolutely no benefit for me. And like it only makes things worse, personally, in my
Well,
opinion, to take that person down.
don't you have the stance then? Or well, why are you playing Sea of Thieves then play Animal Crossing if you want to relax and take your mind off from your bossy boss?
Yeah, of course. But maybe he doesn't have a Nintendo Switch.
All right, fair enough.
Wow. Okay. You just countered your point perfectly there, Blubber. We're going off on a tangent then, but you brought up a very good point there, Blubber. And Fuzzy, I want you to weigh in on this as well. Do you think there's a skewed perception of how Sea of Thieves is meant to be played? Because as long as I've known it, and I'm sure you guys will agree, it's a PvP VE game where the threat doesn't come from E, it comes from the P version. And it's been marketed like that since I think when they revealed it
Mm,
in 2015. And that's how I've always viewed it. But you see this game explode in popularity, and it's a massive success. It's probably Xbox's second biggest exclusive at the moment, just behind Halo. Probably first after Halo launches, just to touch on that. Um,
Hmm.
but then you see all these things come out. There's Tall Tales, there's Megalodons to fight, there's Krakens, there's Pirates of Caribbean. I think it gives a skewed perception of the game because a lot of that stuff is held and performed in a server where other players will attack you. And I don't think the casual players and the new players understand that enough in the marketing. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
well, I think it caters a bit too much to PvE, and indeed, that skewed perspective comes from the developers themselves too. I think they're catering a bit too much towards the PvE crowd at the moment, um, and that should change, especially after they stopped promoting Arena. That gave a clear message, like adventure is more important, and the tall tales and the lore are on the foreground now. So we're gonna promote that.
Yeah, true. I mean, if you think of it, it's in the end, Sea of Thieves is a business. The developers
Mm,
are passionate, but it's a business. They need to make money because Microsoft is a big beast, right? If it doesn't make money, they can just say, "Hey, Johnny, shut down the servers." Why? We have player base. It's not making as much as we want. Bye. That's simply it. That's how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because Xbox now is getting bigger and bigger, like Game Pass, and there are a lot of games waiting in line and ready, to jump in as soon as they get the chance. So, as a business move, I don't blame them, and I am sure if Rare can go back in time, they will make all Tall Tales instance based, like
mm.
Pirate's Life.
Yeah, I think so too. So how do you feel then about PvE servers that that are only there to do tall tales? I mean, it would be great for beginning players to kind of get a feel for the game, and they don't sink because there's no real enemies yet. They can experience the story, get lured into it. The first couple of months are going to be a great experience, and then they're done with the tall tales, and then they go, "Hey, let's go to the PvE/PvP servers." So how do you feel about that?
Um, how should I say that?
Would that work? Do you think?
Not really, actually. Now that you said it,
Mm,
but see, the main problem in the way content is added, Sea of Thieves, including Tall Tales, that kind of like aligns with what you said, is there are two types of updates that come to Sea of Thieves: a core update and a plugin update. The only core update with the only full true core update we got was Shrouded Spoils, and then bits and pieces and other updates like Anniversary, like Harpoons and stuff like that. But majority of Sea of Thieves updates are plugin updates. A plugin, basically, I define it like this, which is something you can completely ignore and live without, which is Tall Tales, Shrines, um, you know, whatever other stuff they have around the
Mhm.
map. You can. There's so many things that come in the form of a plugin that you can completely ignore, and that's what caused the division and the split in the community on what people like to do. Like if Tall Tale was added, just like how the shrines were. It's an adventure that you have to go through, but it's a part of your normal day, and you can get robbed, and there's loot that you can sell. Like Tall Tale becomes a quest, a voyage, not a Tall Tale. Uh, I don't know how they would implement that. That feels like a core feature, and more of us will be doing Tall Tales in general. I know a lot of people are doing it, but it will be a part of the daily adventures. But there's so many people that haven't touched Tall Tales since a year now,
Mm.
because they finished it and that plugin is not needed anymore.
Like the Devil's Roar.
Exactly. Yeah. Devil's Roar, you can tell that they had plans for it, but they didn't work as intended. Now it's parked on the side. Arena, the same. I always tell my viewers, Arena keeps getting smaller. Next time it's going to be in the settings. After that, it's going to be in accessibility. All the way in the bottom.
Wow.
Enable Arena, and now it's going to be gone. But I don't know. I'm just thinking because I think eventually they're going to bring Sea Dog to Adventure. They
Mm.
have to. The tavern's already there. There's so many like Easter eggs in it, the flags of the ships and stuff. So I think they're just waiting for that to come in before they remove it.
Interesting. Because I did wonder, like some accommodations were kind of hard to get in Arena, like getting the cannon kills. And for me as an Xbox player, Eye of Reach is not my strongest suit. So I was like, oh, let's get those accommodations to an adventure. I would love that. But now since I have finished all my accommodations for Arena, I don't really care about it. a bit selfish,
Exactly, exactly.
but
It
there you
feels like
go.
a plugin. It's gone. You're done. Like Tall Tales, you're done. It's gone. It's from the
Mm.
past. The next year, if they don't release anything, you're virtually gonna forget that that part of the game exists.
Mm.
So
I
that the resources and time they spent on that uh, had an expiry date. That's why core features like Shrouded Spoils until this day did not expire. More active forts and skelly ships and megs and stuff.
I
Yeah, it's repeatable content that is repeatable essentially. Unlike like you say, Tall Tales, Devil's Roar, world events, sort of you can repeat, but they can wane on you a bit. But sort of before we move on to a slight question about Arena, let's quickly circle back to a quick question from one of our viewers. So Benabil asks, Reapers ain't the PvP faction it should be. I've never done any PvP and I'm level 47. That's not right. How would you make a faction that encourages PvP and awards PvP?
Um, if they bring Sea Dog, see, that's a theory I had about how would Sea Dog work in adventure. If you basically, a Sea Dog should be an addition, a booster to any emissary that you have, right? This will make, for example, people that want to do Gold Hoarder and mind their own business higher chance left alone. You can raise, for example, Gold Hoarder, and you add to it something. Let's say call it the Sea Dog's badge to it, to the Sea Dog, to the Gold Hoarder. So now, when you're sailing and selling, everything you do is Golden Glory. It gives you
Right.
more stuff, but your Gold Hoarder flag is shown on the map. And as if you raise the Sea Dog emissary by itself, just as if you can do that, not the badge. I'm just putting placeholder names here. If you actually raise a Sea Dog emissary, you will only get rewarded if you sink someone with a Sea Dog badge or another Sea Dog ship. This way, someone with a Sea Dog flag is technically a true PvPer that will never actually sink a ship for no reason, because
That's,
there's literally no leveling, no emissary, no rewards, nothing.
that's a really good idea. I really like that, to be honest. Would you also include the Sea Dogs to gain rep from defeating Reapers as well?
Yeah, maybe they should add, because Reapers feel like the evil PvPers and Sea Dogs are the kind of good
Hmm.
guys.
Mhm.
So maybe there should be some sort of conflict between these two that escalates. Like, for example, uh, a Reaper cannot raise a Sea Dog badge. And
Mhm.
for example, let's say a Reaper only gets reputation from stolen loot. See, if you notice, Sea Dog does not get reputation from stolen loot. Sea Dog gets reputation from sinking other ships and taking their badges and flags. So may the highest Sea Dog win, like this. And Reaper becomes more of a depends how they implement it. If it's only stolen loot, then Reaper will become more of the evil PvPer. Maybe they can make it in a way that the Sea Dog is anti-Reaper, that it's trying to maybe defend Sea Dog badges.
Mm.
You know what I mean? In a way, like, I'm gonna protect this Gold Hoarder Sea Dog against the Reaper because they're gonna steal the stuff from them. I don't know exactly how that would be implemented, but this could cause a lot of purposeful PvP in the game instead of
Mm.
senseless chasing and sinking.
Sort of on top of that, I would make it so that the Reapers and Sea Dogs gain loads of rep for turning each other's badges slash flags in. So if you see a Sea Dog on the map, you're like, I'm going to raise Reaper. They want PvP. I want PvP, and you get incentivized to PvP as a Reaper then, and vice versa. Um,
Exactly.
and obviously, you still get bonuses if you want to run Sea Dog or versus Sea Dog or Reaper versus Reaper. If you added that other faction, they could then for Reapers reduce the amount of rep and gold you get for just PvE to sort of encourage that moment to moment emissary combat between the two, rather than people just going Reaper because they can sell everything to the Servant of the Flame.
Yep, exactly.
Just quickly, Fuzzy, should Arena be updated to accommodate the TDM community? Because I know you said in the video that allegedly the TDM community doesn't like you, or they think that you don't like them, and I think
Yeah.
the TDM community has a bit of a skewed vision of what content creators actually picture them as. So, did you want to
Yeah.
just expand on that?
Yes, I think, since it's a sandbox, these guys don't want to build a sandcastle or a lighthouse. They want to build a turret made of sand, and they have every right to do that, just like everyone else. But I don't think Arena is a good place for them. There should be more of an instance-based, so performance can be better, since TDM is mainly um, PvP and close combat stuff. So it would be like the Maiden Voyage, a separate instance
Mhm.
for them where they have a massive fort in the middle, and that's perfectly round, and the ships spawn around it, and then they will create their content from there. I think something like that will be gorgeous for them, but they deserve their own kind of hideout, because uh, it will also give an incentive for newer players to practice their PvP. They can become like the PvP practical teachers of, I make videos, you make videos, Blurbs makes videos about PvP, but
Mhm.
that's in video format, right? If someone wants hands-on experience, technically, no one can do that unless it's a TDM community.
Good idea. I think they deserve one, and not just for them to practice, but also to make Arena a bit more streamlined and Adventure to be less sort of four borders over from a galleon and spawn camp. Then they'll have a place to practice and fight each other.
Yeah.
And I think just to improve on your idea, then they should make respawns really quickly, like Call of Duty and Halo, just so you don't have to wait 30 seconds to respawn. I think that'd be really good for a fast-paced TDM mode.
Yeah, exactly. I'll add just a quick thing, sorry, to this. People always wanted, if you combine that, people always wanted a bounty system in Sea of Thieves, right? So maybe TDMers can do their own thing, and however they have like higher kills and stuff, this person automatically becomes on bounty on the adventure. This gives them such a high status and rank that they will always want to fight each other, and automatically this guy is like, ding, he's on the list. So when you join, they'll tell you, warning, um, Captain Blubber is on your server, and there's a 50K bounty on sinking him, right?
Oh
So
my.
this makes basically TDM feed to adventure, not in a direct way, you know?
a notoriety system would be excellent and would be great for this original vision of being legendary pirates and being notorious or infamous or famous, whatever you want to call it, across the seas. Is you
Yeah,
know you only really know the famous people in the community that are content creators, don't you? You see all these people that run into, oh, it's Phuzzy, let's get a screenshot of Phuzzy, or it's Captain Falcor, oh, I
yeah.
met Captain Falcor. It's never like, oh, this guy just killed everyone on the server and he's like the best PvP player ever because
Yeah,
he's not a content creator.
which is not fair for non-content creators, right? Some people
Yeah,
are way better than all of us combined in PvP, but just because they have no ability to create content, they're always left in the dust.
and you said this before, like a lot of people say, oh, I killed Phuzzybond, I killed such and such, and
Because it
you
gets
turn around
clapped.
and say, yeah, well, just because I played the game and stream it doesn't mean I'm any good. And that's my
Yeah,
view on it as well. Like, why are you proud of killing AShinyRay? He plays on controller and he's he makes lore videos. It's not a PvP sweat.
yeah, it's just like like Will Smith when he flies in Men in Black and stuff. This is all effects and music. The same for me when I make my videos. I'm fighting a ship. Yeah, we sunk a galleon, but when you go put that in YouTube, you have the symphony and end of the world music and effects and color correction and stuff and zoom ins and memes and stuff. It makes you look 10 times better than you are, which gives the false impression. Just like actors, just like actors. None of them can do anything they do, or right? I always tell them we're just glorified things like these guys.
You heard it here first, folks. Smoke and mirrors and After Effects makes Phuzzybond look good. We got him, everyone. We got him.
Exactly. I actually ranked myself in PvP in one of my videos called Calm, a 6 out of 10 in PvP. I win more than half, but I definitely lose. PvP naval I'm better, but PvP I rank myself 6 out of 10.
Fair enough. Good to have modesty. I'm sure you're better than that, Phuzzy. Obviously, we've not sailed together, so I can't comment. You look good in the videos, but as you just said, that's all
Yeah.
After Effects and post processing. So maybe we shouldn't trust you.
Yep.
Just moving swiftly on, unless you want to add anything, Blubber.
No, that's fine. Let's move on.
No. So my favourite question that we've got on here, and I'm a big advocate of this, reviving and balancing. So seems a lot of partners don't like it, or a lot of the community seem a bit mixed on it. You've commented on this before. Has your opinion changed? And if so, what is it?
No. Well, reviving and spawn camping basically come hand in hand. Basically, I think I have the perfect solution for this, which is reviving anywhere. Reviving on enemy ships shouldn't be allowed because that only, just like portal hopping, benefits the veterans, the attackers, because casuals never board. They shoot a few missing cannonballs from a distance and then they try and avoid you, right?
Mhm.
So if there's someone on someone else's ship, is usually the better PvPer. So other than you're already a better PvPer, you're gonna have higher chance to survive longer because you can revive your crewmate on someone else's ship. Like, keep reviving, but not on someone else's ship.
Fair enough. I agree. I had this time when I was playing with my girlfriend, and she just started playing Sea of Thieves. It's like her third or fourth week, and we were just going through the tall tales, what have you. And we sunk this galleon, this Reaper 5 galleon, and they sunk to me. Obviously, I'm a bit better now that I've been playing it more, but back then, I'm sort of just trying to look after her because she's just new to the game. We sink them, and they all survive. They get back spawns, and they just spawn camp us. And they weren't very good players, no offense to them, but they managed to keep us in a spawn camp because they kept reviving each other. Whereas
Exactly.
in a 1v1 with me, none of them are going to beat me. But because there's 4 versus 2 and a new player on there who's barely touched a controller, let alone played Sea of Thieves, I'm killing 1 and 2 or even 3 at a time. But if we both die, that third one gets to revive everyone. And that's when I turned around and made the video like, reviving needs rebalancing, or you know what, I'd be
Yeah.
happy if it got removed from the game, because maybe removed if you get killed by another player. If it's in PvE, it should be fine.
Or add a cooldown, you can revive once per 5 minutes, that's fair enough.
Yeah, like
Just like how you cooldown on supplies, why can't that be added to reviving?
but yeah, exactly. Like it needs to be addressed. And I know a lot of content creators don't like it. Blubber, how do you feel about reviving? I think last time we spoke, you said you didn't. You thought it was fine as is, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm pretty neutral about it. But again, that's also because of my own experiences. Like I'm I'm a pretty decent player, if I say so myself. But the real key is I play with people who are better than me. So if I'm duo slooping and we're up against sweaty galleons, like we still win. So I don't really get annoyed by them reviving because it's just a really intense battle
Mhm.
that we're probably gonna win in the end. So it all feels good after an hour of combat. So I'm like I said, like my experiences are a little bit different.
Yeah, it
I
depends how much you succeed in the seas, basically.
I
Mhm.
indeed, but like most people's aren't at our level, so I do get it. I do really like, the fact that it should cost something, like maybe a pineapple, like you revive people while having a pineapple or
Yeah,
something like that. That's a great idea. I would love something like that.
I've just
yeah.
got images of a pirate that's slumped over, soul going up to the ferry of the damned, and there's you just come and rush in as your giant fat pirate, like with the pineapple, just feeding
Shoving it
it to them.
in.
There, my child, I brought you sustenance.
Live,
Yes,
goddamn, live!
Yeah.
I can fight. The pineapple has provided me sustenance. That would
I
be a really cool thing if you had to feed someone foods to revive them.
mm,
Yeah, exactly. It's I guess we're in agreement there, apart from really blubber there, that it needs to be addressed. But whether that will actually happen, we don't know. Sort of obviously just moving swiftly on, unless you want to add anything else, either of you.
I personally have the point of spawn camping. Maybe will help get the message out. Spawn camping goes aligned with that. When people like kind of alter spawn locations and stuff by
Yeah.
standing in, usually, sweats do that, especially when you get stream sniped. That's the only way that you do it. They do it. You have four double gunners on your solo slope standing in locations and you die before a black screen. Now, spawn camping, some people say like invincibility on spawn and stuff. These things, in my opinion, won't work because they can still see you running and stuff. I feel like how when you revive someone, their soul kind of like gets sucked down into their body. You see
Hmm.
that animation.
mhm,
So when we come back from the ferry, add an animation that looks like that. And this is basically you being blasted into the overworld, you can say. And it adds a small blunder bomb blast around you that doesn't cause damage, but causes a stun like missing a sword lunge. So
Yeah.
basically, I'm revived back to my ship, but I kind of
mhm,
boom back to my ship. If there's someone around me that's close trying to spawn cam me, they will basically have to move back. Or if they were caught in it, they will get stunned, or maybe basically they will get dodged back out of the ship. And it's not a big range. So, for example, if you're on a slope and someone wants to kill you again, they can't alter locations because they're probably going to have to stand on the canopy or
Mhm.
the bowsprit. And by doing that, it's perfectly fine because you're going to spawn back and have at least 3 seconds of breather before you get shot again. So, adding something like this, in my opinion, I thought of this so much. I feel like it'll be the most balanced addition to the game.
mm.
This way,
Exactly.
basically, social distancing when someone spawns back is what's recommended.
Very, very relevant and on point with current climate of the world at the
Yeah,
moment. But hits the nail on the head again. Making suggestions rather than just throwing your toys out the pram and saying, "Oh, I don't like this." Rare, figure out you're going to fix it. Suggestions is what Rare like. We know it. They do listen to the community, and it's better doing it this way. Even if it's just any idea just to sort of fix something you're not happy about is better than just effing and jeffing and telling
yeah,
Rare to piss off or whatever. It's not going to work. Trust me, it won't work.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but yeah, it's a good suggestion. I like it. It needs to be looked at, in my opinion. Blubber, anything else before we move on?
That's fine. Seems like something we can test in Insiders.
Yeah, we'll try and whenever we spawn back, just throw a blunder bomb at your feet, see what happens.
Yeah, either a dodge back or a stun. I think stun is more punishing, which is better. You know, it's like you make
Yeah.
a small bubble, like aura around you, just w- like the Sonic shield in back in the Sega days, something like that that flashes around you. Anyone within that range gets stunned for 2 seconds. This way, you can actually take him down.
Only if we get the hurdy-gurdy version of Sonic's theme what happens.
Nice. Yep.
But yeah, exactly. Good point. Fuzzy, what does Rare need to add next? What do you personally want, and what do you think would be best for everyone as sort of like a selfless addition to the game?
um, generally, or PvP, or just generally, like to the
And
seas.
Personally, anything you personally want, and what you think needs to be added to the seas, PvP or otherwise, for everyone. So 2 answers there, basically.
Well, PvP wise, it's mainly the boarding axe. I'm always strong about the boarding axe because uh, if you actually look at the structure of the ships, they are wrong. Because on a galleon, it's much bigger, but you have 4 people on it. It still has
Mhm.
2 ladders, just like the smallest ship. But in addition to that, it's the only ship where you can actually see if someone's hiding in the bottom of your ladder, because the ladder angles outwards if you're looking from the top, and you can stand on the plank to see all the way down. So in addition that it has overpowered guarding, which is 4 people on a ladder, probably 8 guns as usual, you know. If you're down there, it's very easy to spot you and very easy to take you down. On a slope, however, or a brigantine, there is no way to see if someone is on the bottom of the ladder unless you actually try and like look or fall or sit on the ship and use your emote camera to look from that way. So that's an unfair balance. Um, yeah. So if they add a boarding axe, the boarding axe makes a sound and it's a consumable, like a throwable. So basically, you can find up to 5 in barrels, right? If you use one to climb the hull, that's gone. So it's not abusable either. And the difference is because it should make a sound like shoveling on the dock. If you put the shovel on the dock, you know that thud sound that it does. So
Mhm.
basically, it's easier to board a galleon because that sound might be further. If you're on the helm and there's someone boarding from the front of the ship, it's less chance for you to hear them. But on a slope, it's much easier to hear them since the ship is smaller. So I feel like the boarding axe in that way will be a much more balanced boarding experience for everyone.
I love the suggestion. I want more things like that in Sea of Thieves. Um, Shelley, Andrew, Joe, Mike, whoever, please get this sorted for us. It'd be
Yeah,
fantastic just to have new tools in general. Boarding axe is my
yeah.
number one at the moment, other than the
It will
grappling
also, it
hook.
will also, sorry, add a limp if you can use it as a throwable. If someone is running, instead of having 2 static pirates in the same speed for 5 hours chasing each other, if you throw a boarding axe at them, it maybe causes like a temporary limp or
Mm.
something. So it has other uses too.
Good idea. Again, anything to spice up the meta and sandbox. And just to sort of follow up as well, what do you think would be best for everyone for Sea of Thieves? Just for Rare to add, I mean.
Well, they're kind of working on it, which is seasons, something to value players' time. Because back in the day, the reason why player retention was, I think, low in Sea of Thieves is because, like I mentioned in the video, if you have a weekend to play and all your loot went to the bottom of the ocean, next time when your parents only allow you to play for 3 hours after school on a weekend, you're definitely not going to play Sea of Thieves. You're gonna say, I feel like playing it, but it sucks that I'm bad in PvP and I don't want someone to waste my 3 hours like they did last week. So I'm just gonna go play, Valheim or something.
Fair enough. Yeah, they've done that with seasons, haven't they? With the season pass, they
Yeah,
should
just
make
value
this.
player time, while
Yeah,
they're on the season.
yeah, I agree. They could make the season pass a bit better, or longer to make that a longer thing for players to engage in. Rather than it's done in a week. If you're a hardcore player, even a casual, you can get it done in like 5 weeks in the season. Um, But yeah, great suggestions. We'll have to add that to the tally because then we can see what every guest wants to add into the game. So just try and whiz through these last questions because we are running out of time. Fuzzy, a lot of people have grievances with the sword. How do you feel about it in the current weapon meta?
It's very, very unreliable. And they also made partnership with Flex Tape because when you slice someone, they just stick in place for like 7 hours, which is wrong. It has a, Bluetooth 5.0 on it because it's very ranged. If you actually stand on a slope, you can stand before the grill and slice the bell with it before the grill. That's the grating or whatever it is. So the only reason I use the sword is because of mobility. But if you notice how I fight people when someone's like running towards me, I spam blunder bombs, then try and hip fire with the gun at the next run, unless there's a sword lunge available.
Fair enough. I think it needs a nerf. I don't think the damage needs to go down because I think at the moment it's in line with time to kill with the other weapons in the game, especially when you consider quick swapping. But Yeah, I think they need to remove that stun and the stun effect as well, which is really annoying. It really messes with your muscle memory because it stops you from looking at when your food's been eaten properly. Blubber, do you think it needs to be nerfed?
I think it's fine.
Just M1 everyone. That's fine.
Yep.
As it gets the job done.
Right trigger, right trigger.
Anything else to add, Fuzzy?
If I would add to sword, I would make it more like if you played Last Oasis or Bannerlord, that basically when you on Bannerlord, for example, if you click with a sword and you slide your mouse left, it does a right slash and then a left slash, top slash, bottom slash. You have 4 directional slashes. So, for example, if you're fighting me and you do a right slash, I have to right click, directing my mouse to the left so I can actually block your right slash coming towards me. This makes it more of a skill based sword, like a much more skill based. I'm not saying it's not, there's so much involved in it, but currently it's broken and unreliable. You know, I don't know if you played games like this, but sometimes like the corresponding direction to the player attacking you, you block their attack left, right, up, down will make it a much better weapon than just like click, click, and hope they go through.
Yeah, absolutely. It needs more skill involved. There is an element of skilled sword players. If you watch someone like Blurbs, he's really hard to beat, even if you're like a double gun in sweat. His sword play is really good. But there is this sort of bad taste in people's mouth that, and it does happen. You can just spam M1 and kill even the best sword user just because of how the sword is, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so a bit of a tongue-in-cheek one next, Fuzzy. Will hit reg ever be fixed?
Well, based on what the devs said, like maybe a year ago, they said we are tired of putting band-aid fixes on hit reg. When the time comes, we're gonna revamp it. Basically, they're gonna turn it off and on again.
Oh, interesting. Obviously, that remains to be seen, as we all know. I'm
Yeah.
sick of hearing about it at this point. I hate it when people bring it up. I'm frustrated about it. Blubber's frustrated about it. My mum's frustrated about it. We know hit reg needs to be fixed. Cut Rare some slack, because if it was that easy, they would just do it. It's
Aye.
Yeah, at
like,
least that's a step in the right direction, right? Because they for example, look, they tried to fix bucketing and
mhm.
it's like broken in another way now, right? So uh when you're on the stairs or something, sometimes the same problem happens. It's better than before the patch, but it's still not very
Yeah.
reliable.
The way I see it is hit reg is the Hydra of Sea of Thieves. Every time they squash a bug, 2 more arrive in its place, especially when it comes to hit reg. And would I be happy with hit reg if we didn't get content for 6 months and it was fixed? That's not going to be good
Yes.
for anyone. Personally, I think the game will really suffer from that. I don't think people, well, casual players anyway, get on Sea of Thieves and complain about the hit reg. I personally would have more content, and it's very impressive how much they've stuffed into the world map as it is, especially on the old Xbox One. That thing is a dinosaur now. But sorry, Fuzzy, did you say you'd be happy if they didn't add any more content, if they made hit reg completely fixed?
Well, you know why? Because this might be kind of like a mind bending thing that I'm going to say, but business wise, you think of it like this.
Hmm.
I'll ask you this question, even though it's your interview. Okay, does hitreg being here, does hitreg bridge the gap of skill between casual and experienced players?
What do you mean?
Basically, does a casual player have a higher chance to kill a skilled player with hitreg?
No, I don't think so.
I personally think so because the sword, when and just my experience in it, when a new player attacks you, they only M1 spam. They don't even block, right? You, as an experienced player, you're gonna try and use features that's supposed to be in the game, like blocking, uh, um, hopping to the left, hopping to the right. So his cutlass could slice through your sword or backtrack you. Even if you hop to the left, it will still hit you. Sometimes they're facing the other way; it will hit you. So I feel like in terms of like senseless M1 spamming, it kind of helps casual players. Like I personally die more than before. The worse hit rate gets from newer players.
Okay,
You
that's
know,
fair. In that scenario, I do agree with you. but in the sense that if it was going more pistols and double gunning and
No,
shooting
I'm
each other.
talking about just the cutlass, and that's why I feel like, in a way, that leaving it there for a bit is a better business move, because someone complaining about it is someone who already put his heart and soul in the game, right? And that's not going to quit. Rarely, right?
Mhm.
Like you said earlier, newer players are not going to notice that it's even a thing. They're just going to enjoy the game and
Mhm.
probably win more sword spamming battles. So, as a business move, it has a bright side.
So this sort of circles back to the fact that Rare probably cater too much to new players and not the veteran players. Would you say that's the thing?
Yeah, which is not wrong. It's a business move. In the end, they want to make money, right? We are just salesmen, but the customers are what matter.
Fair enough. Yeah, if you put it that way, I agree with you. So yeah, that's fair enough. Blubber, anything to add?
Nope.
Nope, that's fine. So I think we've got time for one community question. So we asked our viewers, we didn't tell them that Phuzzy was going to come on just in case that fell through. But it's going to be a nice surprise for them now. So Phuzzy, should Rare force players to use a sword and leave up the second weapon slot for any of the 3 guns, pistol, blunder, or sniper?
See, if I go back in time, I would do that, but now it's unfair for double gunners. As much as I personally don't like double gunning, um, it's unfair for them. I don't think of things in selfish ways. Yeah, if they force the cutlass, I'm going to survive way more. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm going to, but that's not good for people who want to build their sandcastle with 2 lighthouses. You
I
know, you know what I mean? They have the right to play however they want to. Now, if I go back in time, I would definitely force the cutlass. But now, 3 years later, it's too late. Unless they do like what Overwatch did. All right, guys, this Sea of Thieves vanilla is not supported anymore. We're gonna reintroduce Sea of Thieves 2, and then it'll be forced by that. All tall tales are instanced, cutlass is forced and stuff. This way, the game will cater more to PVE, less PvP, but Rare will make more money.
Fair enough, Fuzzy. I don't think
also
they should.
I want
Oh, you go
to.
first. You go first.
Well, I agree with that, but I also want to say that this question was submitted by Vlak.
Oh yes, sorry. I was gonna cover that just once
Guy.
Fuzzy finishes. Gonna say thanks to Vlak. So thank you, Vlak, for submitting that question, and as well, well done on winning your Obsidian cap stand. By the way, there you go. Make you feel better after I bullied you on the stream. Yeah. I agree. I don't think they should force guns on anyone, especially because a lot of double gunners don't know how to use the sword and they don't like it. So why take away freedom when everyone's happy as is? At least in my opinion,
Yeah.
Blubber.
Yep, great.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so sort of just coming towards the end now. Fuzzy, is there anything else you want to bring up quickly before we do the outro?
Forever, anyone who's stressing out about Sea of Thieves and sinking, it's your time. Don't let anyone take it away from you.
Fantastic advice
Nice.
from the man himself with his honest guides and gameplay. So thank you, Fuzzy, for
Thank you.
sharing that. As we come to the end of our podcast, well, this is the outro. So I want to thank Phuzzybond for joining us today. And can you tell our listeners where they can find you? So please plug your socials.
I'm Phuzzybond everywhere: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter mainly. The other stuff I don't care about.
I'm sure you guys know where to find him. Yeah, I'm sure most of you watch his videos. If you don't, if you're one of those 1-2 community members that don't for Sea of Thieves, go watch Fuzzy stuff. It's fantastic. And we'll link the video down below as well that the whole podcast is based on. So make sure you give that a watch if you haven't already. You can find me, AShinyRay, on AShinyRay at twitch.tv and AShinyRay at YouTube as well. I'm also at AShinyRayQuaza on Twitter if you want to have a look on there. But yeah, that's pretty much all my socials. So thanks for listening today. Please let us know if you like listening to a different host today and how do you feel about the current state of PvP in the game. Let us know down below in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. So thanks again and have a lovely day and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.